Hello ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another fragrance review. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And today I am very excited to tell you guys a little bit about the newest release from the company Tower Perfumes, and it's called Au Coeur du Desert. Now before I get into the review, I just want to mention that if you are interested in purchasing this fragrance, you may find it at luckyscent.com. I trust Lucky Scent with all of my niche purchases. They have excellent customer service, very fast shipment, and they have all these hard to find niche and indie fragrances. Now, this fragrance is not part of the original collection. So those of you who are familiar with Andy Tower's perfumes, you know that he has the Classics line that has 14 fragrances in it. The first one being Le Maric Pour Elle, the very last one being Noontide Petals, that's the 14th one. He also has the Collectibles, which is where Fille Une Rose de Kandahar would fall under. And then this one is not really part of any collection. Now, with this fragrance, I think we can tell that the inspiration was his second release, L'Air du Désert Marocain, and that's also his most successful release because it brings you in the heart of the desert. Surprisingly, that's what this fragrance, its name translates to, but L'Air du Désert Marocain is so evocative of the air of the Moroccan desert. You picture yourself in a tent, there might be gingerbread cookies baking off to the side somewhere, so you get that little sweetness, that gourmand aroma, which I think is communicated through the use of the amber accord in the base. And then you just, you have that arid climate of the desert, and it's evoked so well with the spices and the arid notes, if you will. This fragrance brings you in the heart of the desert, and this one is actually amped up in concentration. So whereas the original is an Eau de Toilette Intense, which was created by Andy Tower, this one is an Extrait de Parfum. So we're looking at a higher concentration of aromatic compounds, which is going to lead to this one lasting longer, being more brute and more potent and powerful. So I'm excited to tell you guys a little bit more about this fragrance. Let's go ahead and kick things off by taking a look at the presentation. The presentation for this fragrance is a beauty, but it can get a little bit complicated. So you have the sleeve over the top, and then you have an aluminum tin on the inside. The sleeve just says Immersive Sculptures on it, and then you have the Tower logo punched in from the back. And then here you have the silhouette of the bottle on the front, really cool looking. And then here at the back, you have the name of the fragrance, the concentration. This one is an Extrait de Parfum, all of the ingredients, and you can actually pop this out. And then on the back, it just has this blank space. It says the same information. Now, this comes off just like this. You want to slide it up, and the inside reveals the same information, the lot number, and the silhouette of the bottle on the inside. Really snug fit there. And then it's actually signed by Andy Tower himself. That's one thing that people don't know, or some people might not know if you've never purchased any of his fragrances, is that he actually does take the time to sign every single box that goes out. Here's the fragrance, the actual bottle. It does look a little bit different from his usual releases because it just has the name of the fragrance, Au Coeur du Desert. And then here it does not have a number. So part of his Classics line is that they're numbered. This one is not part of that line, so it's not numbered. Over here, you have Tower sort of engraved into the cap. Really nice blue color to it. Sticker at the bottom with your information. There are some rubber rings on the perimeter of the neck, and those hold the cap into place. Distribution on this one is fantastic. Really great distribution. And that was the presentation for Au Coeur du Desert by Tower Perfumes. So I must mention that in getting ready to evaluate or assess this fragrance, I had to do a side-by-side with Tower's #2 L'Air du Désert Marocain. And what I have to say is that they have a very similar note in both of them. So both of them are evocative of being in the middle of the desert. And I think that's what makes this such an artistic fragrance, right? The fact that it transports you, it brings you somewhere. And what I have to say is that the note that's used in L'Air du Désert Marocain that brings you in the middle of that desert, it's the same note that's used in this fragrance. It has this dry, arid climate about it. You can't imagine yourself being in the middle of the desert. What I think the main differences are between the two, not to make this too much of a comparison video, is that this one loses the sweetness. It has more of like a floral element, but it's not too strong, and it's amped up on the spices. So when you smell this, just like the name implies, you do see yourself being in the heart of the desert. Now listen, before I get into the review and telling you guys exactly what I think it smells like, I have to say this to me smells like a sequel of #2 L'Air du Désert Marocain. This smells like, whereas in the original, you're in the tent and you're in the middle of the desert and you have those gingerbread cookies off in the background somewhere. This is you on that journey, right? It's another chapter to the narrative. And now you are smack dab in the middle of the desert. And I think Tower has done this before. I think he did this with Lone Star Memories, right? Which was his third creation. And then he came out with Lonesome Rider, which still has that smoky carrot seed cowboy by the campfire type of a deal. So I think this is an expansion of that. So first of all, do I think this is going to be successful? Yeah, because it mimics his second creation so well. Now, do I think that if you didn't like Lair du Desert Marocain that you might like this one? No. I think if you like Lair du Desert Marocain, you're gonna love this one, right? Because they're brothers. I wouldn't even say they're close cousins. They are brothers. This fragrance, it's smoky, it's spicy. The spices very much like Bulgari Man or Honor Man by Amouage. They bring forth a sense of sophistication about them, making this very appropriate for a formal type event, you know, suit and tie, shirt and tie. I think it really communicates that masculinity and that sophisticatedness. Nonetheless, it is bold and it's powerful. And you thought Lair du Desert Marocain was rough around the edges. This is even rougher around the edges. It certainly has a rough exterior about it. Nonetheless, this is for somebody who is not afraid to wear fragrances that they like, not afraid to wear fragrances that make them happy. And it's such a spectacular release from the house. And it's quickly, because it's more powerful than Lair du Desert Marocain, it's quickly becoming one of my favorites. I personally like the other fragrance because it is a little bit sweeter with the amber, and you have the coriander and you have all these other spices, and I think it added a lot of personality and complexity to it. This one, it's more unilateral, but I think the evocation of what it's trying to bring forth and what it's trying to convey, it's that much stronger, making it as equally of an artistic scent. So nonetheless, I love this scent. Let's go ahead and finish things off by taking a look at the rating. First of all, I took a look at the uniqueness and the overall smell, and for a Tower fragrance, it's not unique because it does smell like his #2 creation, but when you're comparing it to anything else, it is such a unique scent. It truly is. And the overall smell is quite pleasant. It's a very addictive smell. It makes you want to keep smelling it on your hand. And to be honest with you, I'm wearing both of them, #2 and then this one, and there are times when I'm not sure which one I'm smelling because they have a familiar element to them. So there is that overlap, you know, there is that synchronicity, but as long as you don't mind something slightly reinterpreted and bottled differently, then definitely make sure you give this one a try. As far as longevity goes, this is a powerhouse. You're gonna get 12 plus hours. I have worn this and I cannot believe it. It lasts such a long time, especially if you spray it on clothing or cotton. It's going to linger endlessly. Projection, also quite strong. I know the more alcohol it has in it, the louder it's going to be. This projects a little bit more softly than Lair du Desert Marocain, but it will project for a longer time. So please be cautious. The performance in here is no slouch. Versatility on this one, I do have to agree, it is a little bit compromised. Reason I say that is because, like I said, it's formal, it's masculine, and it's probably geared more towards somebody who's a little bit older. So I think 25 plus. I wouldn't wear this one casually because of the price tag, but also because of what it's capable of evoking. And I do think it has this rough and tumble nature that would probably appeal to a man more than to a woman, but these are just recommendations. I think you should wear what you like and wear what makes you happy. Scent has no gender. And then lastly, presentation, I think is an improvement over the last one. I do kind of miss the pentagonal boxes, but I think there were a lot of really neat additions to this one. Listen guys, if I had to give this one an overall score, this is going to get a solid 4 out of 5 from me. I think Lair du Desert Marocain, which can also be purchased at Lucky Scent, is a 5 out of 5. This one is a reinterpretation, and there is a time and place to wear this one when you're craving to be in the heart of the desert, and it does it so well. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you own or have tried any scent by Tower Perfumes, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe for future videos, top 10s, giveaways, unboxings, and a lot of other fragrance-related content. So remember, I smell well so you can smell good, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.